Okay, I'm back at DLS Tuners today, and I am checking out pursuit races again. I'm going to show you some stuff that you may not have known with this. I think it's important for you guys to remember, and I think we should just rehash it if we haven't said it before. Some of it's cool, some of you like, I can't believe I never saw that before. But the first thing is that everybody out there, you keep losing in pursuit races, and the reason that you're losing in pursuit races is you're following some of these old YouTube videos that tell you the wrong ways to go. This is the video. I know the algorithm doesn't support it very much, but go find the videos that we've made about the biggest direction, and that way you can do a lot better. Now, I like beating you guys every time because you don't know where you're going, but I would rather you have the opportunity to be like this in 15th position in the overall standings. I think that's important, and you guys say you don't care about your win-loss ratio. That's fine, but you certainly protect it like you do. So if you do actually care about winning and want to be competitive, let's take a look at some of this stuff. So the first thing I want to remind everybody is, I keep seeing this over and over again that nobody is learning it, is buy bulletproof tires. Now, I have to preface that with a lot of people still do these stock races, so they drive with stock cars. That's okay. You're going to get used to where to position the back end as you come through let's say a roadblock or something. You want to position the back of the car so that the bullets are going to hit the car and not on the tires. It doesn't guarantee that you're never going to get hit, because some of this is random factor. There's going to come a point when there's a van and it's going to have a spike strip out. So if you see the vans, look for the spike strips. And sometimes they just get lucky and they pop a tire. But if you're running it's non-stock, so you have custom vehicles on, and you don't have these tires or bulletproof tires on it, you're setting yourself up for a loss. The moment you pop a tire, your race, you have to get to a checkpoint as soon as you can so you can reset to use that tire, because you're nowhere near as fast as anybody else on the field. And you can't rely on anybody else to have it happen, because a lot of these guys are running the races they're running because they're winning, because they either know what they're doing or they're just getting lucky with getting shot at. So get used to running with that. Get used to buying bulletproof tires on cars. You can now undo it now. So if you want to do stance stuff, I don't know if that's still out there or not. I've been doing this so long. But if you still want to do stance stuff, then you have that ability to do that. So I would just say do it, and then if you want to do the show, then spend a little bit of extra money. It's 2 races you paid for your bulletproof tires, but if you want to win, you're not going to be able to do that with non-bulletproof tires in pursuits. You may be good at it and you may get lucky every time, but there will come a point when it'll catch up to you. It caught up to me, and I probably got a couple of losses under my belt, and I have to say it's probably the most frustrating thing ever. And hey, when you started off, we didn't remember, and now we fixed that. So don't make the same mistake that we did. Get ahead of it. Buy the bulletproof tires on your custom vehicles, and make sure that that's not one of the things that ends your day. The next thing is police. When police are spawning, so they're going to spawn in. Some of them are kind of consistent, like right here you can see that some of these police just going to show up. Some of them are already positioned, and they're going to be in a certain way, so they're waiting for you to drive up on them, or they're waiting for you to be where they think you're going to be. You can actually control that by pointing in the direction you want that car to go. So if they're prepared to go in the way and you're pointed far off to the left, they're going to go far off to the left, and you can just drive around them in the other direction. Just make sure you're positioned in a way so that you feel like you're going to one direction, but you're actually going the direction that you don't want to go. And that way you're just going to overcorrect real quick and get to the position you want. If you're going fast enough, they're never going to be able to catch up with you. So let's say you're doing Grove, and you're getting to the end, and you take that left, and you're going to go down, and you try to go over the rocks. You try to jump over the rocks. You may not have noticed this for a while. It's been there ever since the beginning, but look a little bit to the right here, and congratulations, there's a little ramp there. Makes life nice and easy. You go right over the finish line, take your win. Has anybody ever noticed that the top scoop there and the roof, you can see right through it when you look underneath? Something I just picked up over time. It was like, I thought everybody knew that, but apparently you guys don't. Now, this part should go without saying, but not everybody kind of gets it, and it's nothing against anybody or your driving techniques or your ability or anything like that. But what ends up happening, especially with people who are good at racing, is, especially when you get early, is that you get kind of upset or you get kind of flustered because you're not in first. And what'll happen is you'll get in a group, and let's say they shuffles you to the back. So you start off and you got a bunch of dudes that are banging you around and hitting you, and you like just constantly losing position and nothing works. But you say in your head, like, I should be one of the fastest guys here, and you look at people's times and you're like, they're not as fast. What is going on? And a lot of people I see give up or they leave, and you can't leave. Just, I'm going to say this, stick with it. If you really care about being competitive and you really don't care about your win-losses, then stick with it until the end. And the other thing is stop driving against the people. Stop trying to drive their race when you're the faster person. That's always going to result in a loss for you, because if somebody is ahead of you and you're pushing yourself too much, you're actually going to put yourself in a worse position by crashing or making mistakes or letting it get to you. And it happens to all of us. So when you're out there, try not to get flustered when you're not in first, or don't get flustered when you're not having the perfect race. The point of every race is to learn and get better over time. And one of the biggest lessons you're going to have is not being in first and being able to say, I got to race this race my way. The guys in the vectors, that's the beauty of LS Tuner is that you can't, if you're in a vector, you can't race a Sultan race. You can't race the Calico race. You have to race where you're good at, and you have to know where your marks are. You have to know where your braking points are. You have to know what you're doing. And the beauty of this is, as you're going to see, this consistency allows when other people make mistakes that you can capitalize on those mistakes. So here's a race where I'm in last place for most of the race, and then just because somebody screws up at the end, I'm able to convert that into a win because I just stuck with it. I drove my race. I didn't drive theirs, and I was consistent. Perhaps I've gone over this before, and perhaps I haven't. If I have, it's a good refresher course, and if I haven't, then just forgive me because we're going over it now. When you're racing your race, it is very easy to think that gas pedal is the most important pedal that you have. In other words, hitting that gas trigger is, getting you to the end of that race. And that may be true on like Route 68 or regular races, and maybe it doesn't apply to stuff other than LS Tuner. But in LS Tuner, I know for a fact that the best pedal you have is your brake pedal. Too many people go into this and don't think about using it and being okay with using it as much as possible. Be okay with pressing the brake. Every time I see people that are racing me, that when we were talking before about, you'll get in a race with somebody and they're just faster than you, and there's not much you can do about it. The inclination is to try to push yourself to go faster and faster, and that's okay from some standpoint, but every time you apply more of that gas, you're going to apply a lot more brake. Getting into a turn, you're going to make sure that you get into that turn right, because if you get into it with too much force, you're using a lot of real estate that is not going to get you to the end of the race faster. It's going to actually slow you down. You want to brake as hard as you can and then throttle up as fast as you can. Now, this works better for some vehicles than other vehicles, but that's really why we pick the vehicles that we pick, is because it complements that ability to hit the gas, get up to your fast speed as fast as you can, and then get in as much brake as you need, or maybe you don't need as much brake. Maybe the car has better handling, which is why I always choose the Vector. Is not a fast car, but it wins races. Now, why does it win races? Is because it has a better gas pedal and better handling. So if I get into the turn and I tap it enough just to give it enough brake to allow me to get fluidly into the turn and hit each point the way I want to hit it, and then continue to go through the turn. Allow that momentum to balance itself through, because you're not obviously slamming on the brake. You want to apply the brake. You want to give it as much brake as it needs. Sometimes you will be slamming on the brake pretty hard, but most of the time, if you're into a long sweeping turn, you're going to tap that brake a little bit, get to the speed that you need to get so that you can carry that speed through. This also applies to not with just the brake, but the idea of let's go into a turn, and instead of handling that gas pedal all the way down, let's say you see something you're going to hit and bounce off of. Don't keep applying the brake, because in this game, it really makes that back wheels break loose. It makes you break loose. It makes you lose control. And if you're losing control, you're losing the race. So the biggest thing I could say is get off the gas. Be okay with using that brake when you need to use it. I almost want to say you can't use it too much. Like, if you get into trouble, the brake is going to save you from getting too loose or too out of ordinary. And one thing that happens a lot is there's debris on the track. People lose stuff all the time. And if you're in a competition and you say, hey, I'm going to hit that, you just want to hit it. You don't want to have any thrust going into it. Just let the car kind of do what it does, and then get back in the gas once you have full control of the vehicle. That's really one of the big tricks in LS Tuner, and I found it pretty good in all the races out there. It may not be, I don't want to say be-all, end-all information when it comes to some of the regular races, but it's just very sound advice, especially on the street races. If I could tell people over and over again that smoothness wins races and not overall speed. You want to be fast, obviously, but if you're smooth getting into a turn, getting out of a turn, maintaining that momentum through a turn. Remember, if you're going 180, any momentum that's moving you away from that 180 turn is now momentum that's working against you. So don't be afraid to get in the brakes, take that 180 as fast as you can, and use just enough momentum to get yourself back up to speed. Another thing I want to get people into the habit of doing, and nobody's ever done it before, is like, even if you win, if you are the second place, it's usually the best place to do this. But if you're a winner and somebody is a good racer or somebody beat you, send them a great race message. Tell them thank you for racing me. Even if they raced rough, or let's say they didn't race the perfect race, or you get flustered and you're upset because you did something stupid, or maybe somebody hit you and you lost. Don't be a big crybaby. There's such a thing as being a bad winner and a bad loser. Like, the point here is when you race somebody, to have fun racing them. If you had fun racing them, then tell them, yeah, I had fun racing. And like I said, even if you don't let that stuff get to you. It's about the race and it's about you. It's not about them. So thank them for giving the time. I like to do that to host too. So it's just complimentary. So I hope people are doing it, but I know you're not. But yeah, share the thing, and you'll see that people like you for it. And that's it for today. I just love doing this LS Tuner stuff. I love doing the racing. I'm currently just 5 reputation off for being 750, so that means 3/4 of the way to the 1,000 that we've been looking for. I don't plan on stopping after I get it. I probably will take a break because it's been, I don't know, quite a workout. I haven't been able to do any other games. I've been just kind of stuck doing this, and that's not a bad thing. I've actually enjoyed it because it's forced me to get back into racing and kind of master or do some of the stuff that I really forgot in the past, and be able to take those, I guess, if you will, arcadey skills and bring them back into this. And some of the real life skills really play into this. It's a different kind of world when you can actually jump a car and control yourself in a flip and that kind of thing. So, but yeah, it's all just part of that kind of arcadey skill that is just fun and it's enjoyable. And that's the thing is I get into these races, and even when people are better, it really helps me learn something more, and has helped me continue to want to push myself to be the best I can be when it comes to LS Tuner. I don't people ask me what platform is best. I really don't know. There's a lot of more people that are racer oriented in PS4. I don't think, if I'm being honest, I don't think I would be as high as I was here as I would be on PS4. I think the PS4 guys have so many good drivers out there that I definitely would have a lower position, even with some of my best times. I don't know that. I mean, if you guys want to check it out and see where kind of those times that we have are in there. But yeah, it's overall, it's not even about that. It's just about having fun and being able to get, like I said, continue to get better. Like I'll see that I'm 512th position on a race or something, and like what we did with it's Terminal, taking that speed and saying, I'm not happy with that 1,000th position. Let's figure out where we're dropping the ball at. And I went through all the different pursuit races and remastered where I wanted to be in each of the races. And we went from 1,000th position to like 44th position. And then we went back and I tested Good Bet, which is literally my favorite one. And I did Good Bet. And then we went out in the first one. The guy had turned off custom. I mean, just shy of being non-contact. It had no traffic. We ran that race, and it was an incredible run. So, and it put me up in 15th position. So that's the thing is some of this, and especially being in the top echelon of racers, you do have to understand that some of this is just random factor. You really just have to have the best day, everything has to fall into place. It can't be just one thing. And the beauty of this is that you really, a lot of times you can't practice. You really have to get into traffic and be able to run against traffic and learn where the cops are and learn where stuff is. And it's different for street races, obviously. So if street races are your thing, I know that I really haven't mastered that. There's a lot of ones that I'm still in like 150th position or 220th position. It is what it is, but I mean, county pursuit is my weak spot. So I got to keep getting it, and I just, like today, I really did have to tell myself what I'm telling you is, don't let it bug you. Just drive your race, and if you drive your race, you can win. And that's what I want you guys to learn too. You just stick to your race. Drive your way, learn where you're at, and the more you start doing it, the more you're going to start enjoying it. And it's funny how it just kind of converts into wins after a while. And then once you're winning, you're going to be more driven to come back in and race more and more. And then there comes a point when you see people that have these huge positive win-losses, and you're like, oh yeah, we're just going to roast them and watch them leave. And it's funny because even when you ask them, you're like, hey, why do you guys leave? They're like, oh yeah, win-loss doesn't matter to me, really, because you got 3,000 wins and 1,000 losses. Come on, buddy. Like, yeah, and you left the second you were in second place. It's just laughable. But the thing is, we have friends that I run with all the time that they all know what it's like, and we all run the way we run together, and doesn't mean we win every race. Sometimes we lose races, and that's the joy of it, is having that friendship, camaraderie, and learning from each other to be better racers overall. So that's really why I want to do this stuff with YouTube and share it with you guys, and I hope you're getting something out of it. If you are, put a like in, write something in the comments, tell me what you learned, what you didn't learn. Tell me stuff that we're missing. If there's something that we haven't covered, I want to cover it, because I'm pretty sure we've run into it. I'm in, what is it, probably 15 to 1,700 races right now. Some of you guys out there, I've seen guys with 3,000 races under their belt, and I'm like, I wish I had that kind of time. But yeah, if you're out there getting 90% win-loss races, we want to hear, what's your secret. If it's leaving, I don't want to hear your secret. But if you're actually in there winning every race and sticking with it, and I've seen a lot of guys in the 80th percentile that I think are real numbers, and there are some lessons with camber that we just haven't learned yet. So it takes a team to get it done. So if I can set the example and start it here, then good on us. So thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to hit these other videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Talk to you soon, and we will see you next time at the LS Tuner Meets. Have a great day.